Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pierre, this is Simple Home Brew. I'm just doing a bit of a walkthrough on a Cornelius Keg makeover. I'm just going to replace all the seals and all the bits on it that are old, including the posts. It's a fairly old system. I'm about to transfer my pear cider from Mangrove Jacks, and I just want to put it into a container that's been sealed and fixed. I have a repair kit from Keg Land. The kit consists of 2 seals for your lid, a whole heap of O-rings, so like you got 2 pressure relief valves, which are these things. Actually, I might let the pressure out. Now this is a finished beer, and I've just let the pressure stay in there to actually keep it fresh, so that when I do take it apart, it doesn't stink and go off. So I'll remove the pressure relief valve that's in here. That's the old one. I'm going to dispose of that. That's too old now. And relieve the lid. So on the lid we have our little silicone O-rings. I'm going to replace everything, so this is going to get replaced, even though it's in pretty good nick. It was replaced about 1.5 years ago. I will replace that, and there's your lid, your top. I'll give that a wash. Now you don't have to see me wash it, I'll wash all that separately. There's a heap of yeast inside there, which I'll rinse out and clean. I now need to remove the posts. Now the posts are these blokes. The notch, the post with the notch in it is your gas side, and the post without the notch is your serving side. Hopefully that gives you a bit of a hint on what to do. I'll show you how to put that together. First, I'll get the posts off, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, that's dismantled. All I did was just get a spanner and undo it in a clockwise position, normal thread direction. Now, like I said, I'm replacing these. These are poppets inside. These poppets are getting a bit worn out in the rubber, so I just want to get rid of it all. Pop that aside. Now, keep them as spares just in case. I know they do sort of work still, but they leak sometimes, and I don't want that happening. So I'll pop out the poppets. As you can see, they're fairly clean. It's just been from a fresh keg. So all these are going to get discarded. I'm going to clean them up, see if I can reuse them. I'll get them ready just as emergency products, but I want a fresh keg. These are your dip tubes. This is your short dip tube. That's got a little rubber seal on it, which I have in the kit. And we also have the long dip tube, which goes straight to the bottom. Now this one's coming off as well. Now that sits in your keg like that. The little bent bit goes into a little dimple that's in the middle of your keg. So that will be reused. I'll clean everything. So a couple of things I have to do. I have to clean my keg out, so I'm going to rinse it out, get some heavy duty cleaner in there. I've got some here sitting here ready to go, and give it a good scrub. You can't get your arm in there, so you need to use products like a Mangrove Jack's cold water cleanser. So it's not expensive, it's only $5 to $7 a bottle, and it lasts quite a long time. This will do 5 litres, 2 tablespoons will do 5 litres of this. So what I'll do is I'll give this a quick rinse, and we'll put some of this cleaner in it. Okay, so I have a scoop. This is a 1/2 tablespoon. So I want to put 4 of these in the container for 5 litres, which makes it 2 tablespoons. You won't see what I'm doing there. So 4 level spoonfuls. What I'll be doing is I'll throw the dip tube back in without all the seals, so that it will get a good scrub within the dip tube. Dip tube back in the out pipe where it belongs, without a seal on it. As well as my little dip tube on the other side. I'll pop the lid on, which is just going to be, after I fill it up actually, I've set my little water device to 5 litres, and I'll fill that up now. And that'll help me dissolve the cleaner, and I'll leave it in there for about 15-20 minutes and let it just dissolve any kind of bacteria or any kind of bugs that are in there, or any leftover sediment. So once that's done, we'll get back to assembly. What I'm going to do now is I'll grab my parts that I'm going to need to reassemble it with. I'll need a seal for my lid. I'll need a new relief valve, PRV, pressure relief valve. I'll need 2 new feet because the one on there is starting to fall apart and crack. These are the feet for the lid. I'm going to need 2 new ball lock posts, a couple of springs for the ball lock posts. I'll need a couple of poppets and some seals for the dip tubes. So we have 2 different seals. We have our little ones for the dip tube, and the larger ones are for the ball locks, but these already have rubber seals on them, so we don't need to place them on. So I'll need 2 of those little rubber seals for the posts. And I think that's about it, all their rubber seals. Now these guys do have a bit of a lubricant already on it. If you haven't though, I suggest grabbing some grease. This is food grade grease. It only costs about $5 or $3. It's sanitary, it's non-toxic, it's odorless and tasteless. It only lubricates your rubber seals, and I really suggest doing it. It just helps for posts to connect better and for you to screw this on without damaging rubber as you're putting it on. Always a good option. I will put a little bit on each one. Another good hint too, guys, buy yourself a bottle like this. I got this one from Autobarn. It is a heavy duty spray, alkaline based. It can handle all kinds of fluids, and it hasn't failed me. Don't get those little ones, those little cheapies, the little spray bottles that you use for ironing and things like that. Don't get those because they will deteriorate very quickly, especially with acid-based sanitizer in it. So I'll just spray everything with sanitizer. I should put it in a little container. So I'll just throw some sanitizer in the lid. Might as well use the lid for something, eh? So we can throw all our stuff in there so it's all clean. Because, I mean, it's going to be sanitized anyway, but you really should do it before you assemble it. It would just help with getting anything internal that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. So always sanitize everything. So that's sprayed, sanitized. Now I'm going to have to grab this bit of grease. Now I can suggest use a glove if you like. If you don't like, if you get cracked hands, use your gloves. This grease, the sanitizer can be quite potent. It will dry your skin out, and just put a bit of lube on everything. And that won't wash off in the sanitizer either, it'll stay on. So just rub grease on everything. Okay, I can feel it. I know I've got band-aids on. I've also been warned that sometimes if you put grease on everything, which I haven't found, it will stop the foaming of your beer when you serve it. It doesn't affect it at all, just so you all know. Okay, that's all sanitized and ready to go. They're all greased up, ready to go. This might be unconventional for some of you. You might have different methods of doing this. This is my way of doing it, and I just wanted to show you how I do it. I now have to reassemble or clean my keg. So this is my keg. And cleaning product, this is these are my posts. I'll give them all a good wipe. Now that they've got cleaner all over it. I'm going to save the fluid that's in there. Now, warning, this stuff is very, very strong as a cleaning product. If you feel inclined, pop some gloves on so you can protect your skin, which is what I'll do. I do have problems with cracking skin all the time. And safety glasses. It isn't going to do a lot of harm, but better not to take a risk. So I got my wife's safety glasses on. This one's tight as, this one's not. But I can get my arm in, my right arm in okay, really, but my left arm fits perfectly. As I am right-handed, my left arm isn't so harsh, is not so muscly, I suppose. So I'm giving this all a good how do you do, inside and out, and down the bottom. It's fine to do this. I mean, if you can get your arm in there, that's great. I do have a bottle brush. I do have a bottle brush. Really wise to get this if you're a big fella. You can get right in there and just get all the inside with it, like so. I'm not going to be able to show you. It is always a good thing to give everything a good wipe so that anything that might be on the sides might come off. Now, I haven't done a good keg clean like this for a while, but I've got a pear cider I need to put in here, and I just want to make sure it is stain free. All right, that's done. I need to now tip this out. Well, maybe not. No, I need to. Yes, I need to now assemble. Get this out of the way. Oh, I need to now assemble the rest of my bits. The first thing to do is put my rubber seal back on my dip tube. Now, this is basic maintenance, guys. You've got to do this. You've got to make sure everything's running smoothly and is clean and ready. So that's a new rubber seal on the dip tube. Don't need to sanitize that yet, but I do need to place it inside. Now you've got to put it in the outpost. You needed to make sure that this bend goes to the dimple in the center of your keg, as it picks it up in the center, so that any sediment left over will actually congregate around the outside, and it will pick up clean beer from the center. So it works quite well. So I'll throw that in. And this is not complete assembly. This is just the first assembly. I'll have to pull it out and reassemble it later, or readjust it, but this is just for cleaning. Next rubber seal on. Like I said, you need to put lubricant on there, otherwise it just won't work. Throw that in there and bring it back here so you guys can see. That one is no big deal where you put it. Now we have a gas post. This gas post will go on the gas in, or the gas in. Now you pop it in with a long bit at the bottom, the rubber seals at the tip inside. And then you pop the spring in, which the big end is at the bottom and the little end at the poppet tip, and make sure it all lines up nicely inside. This will be now able to be screwed onto your post. Now this is a new one, so the size of the actual hex to screw it up is different. Now the reason why I put the grease on is because, as you see, I'm turning this, and if I was to turn this without grease on it, the rubber would grip onto the metal parts and pretty much cause me issues when I'm brewing. So the poppet's in, and it pushes down beautifully. Okay, next one. So this is a serving post. I'll put the poppet in, the same as before, straight in the top. You'll see it inside, I don't know if you can see that, but hopefully you can. And then the narrow end goes down, like this, with the big end at top, well at the bottom really, and then your poppet sits in the end. So that throws on here, and just be wary that it will want to start. It's metal to metal, so you won't have problems with it not starting properly, and you'll be able to do it up finger tight for a period, and then it'll get a little bit more difficult. I'll throw my spanner in. It's not hard, but it's just easier to use the spanner and do her up firm. Don't over tighten, because you'll cross your threads. Now with the lid, it doesn't matter. It does help to have grease around here, because it helps it seal better, which is something I'll do. I'll pop the grease on that. Just a very thin layer, you don't need a lot. Now it's a fresh one that will just wrap around. You go from underneath if you want, or up from the top, either way. Just be careful not to damage it when you put it on. And voila, that is on. So I'm going to take these little feet off. I might need some pliers to get them off, but I just want to renew everything, so even the feet. I've just got some multi-grips, and I'm going to pull that leg off. The foot, the worn out foot. Like that. Bit of a struggle there. Give it a spray down, just to make sure it's cleanish. And we'll throw the new ones on. The reasoning for doing this is to make these new again, so when you lock it in, they actually strain harder on it and actually seal it better. So throw that on there, just like that, much tighter fit. It actually felt like it was going to pop then. And the last part is my pressure relief valve, PRV. He can go in as well. That all fits nicely by the look of it. Thank you to Keg Land. Well, I pay for it, so. So that is now fully assembled, and I'm just going to swirl it around, check for leaks. I can't see, oh, maybe. Can't see any leaks there at the moment. What I need to do now is pump my gas into this, just a small amount, probably 2 to 3 psi, and pump out the fluid through all the tubes and pipes to make sure that everything got contact with the cleaner. Then I will empty it again and clean it out with water, then rinse it, then put sanitizer in it and pump that through the system as well. So here we go. I've got a little gun that I need cleaning out, so I'm going to use this as my emptier, my disposal unit, so I can clean this out at the same time. So what I have, your gas post. Now that's got about 2 or 3 psi in it, which is all we need. I'm going to throw my gun on the other side and just turn on the trigger and pump cleaning fluid straight out into a pot, a serving pot, or a, well, this is my pot for doing all grain brews and things like that. I'll run that right through to the end, then I'll proceed to put water in it to rinse it, and then I'll put sanitizer in it to rinse that. And then we'll be ready to transfer fluids into my keg from a pear cider that I've made. All right, once it's done, we'll get back. The next step is to rinse it out with water. I've let the gas out. And now I'm going to fill it up with water and just quickly rinse it. And rinse all the parts that are part of it. So I partially filled this up with fresh water. I'll pop the lid back on and I'll give it a quick shake just to rinse it. That'll get a lot of the old cleaning fluids out. Make sure that's closed. I'll tip that water out just in the garden. And now I have a made up bucket of sanitizer, which I'll just quickly pour into my keg. Now, as you guys are aware, that sanitizer was perfectly clean. I just made it not long ago. I will reuse that because the keg is perfectly clean now too, so it's not going to be a problem reusing it. Lid on, give it a good shake. Now, first thing I'm going to do this time is got to be in contact with the surfaces all around for about 30 seconds. But this time I'm going to pressure test it. I'm going to make sure it doesn't leak. And the best way I found to find if something leaks is to fill it up with 20 or 30 pounds of pressure, tip it upside down and see if anything comes out. All right, as you can see or hear, we've got a leak somewhere. It was a pressure relief valve. There you go, that fixed the problem. All right, turn her upside down. Leave it for a few seconds and see if any fluid comes out. Let's see if you can see any. We've got a drip there, it's coming out of the pressure relief valve. So we've got an issue with the pressure relief valve. So we'll stop here, relieve it, and find out what the deal is. Bit of a waste of carbon dioxide, but it's the only way to test your kegs. I don't want a leaky system. Okay, so inspection looks like, can't really tell on this. Looks like there might be a bit of dirt in there or something like that. I'm going to have to figure out how to clean that out now. This looks okay. Well, it's brand new, it should be okay. I'll put a bit of lube on it. And I'll get in there with a cloth and I'll just clean out any gunk that may be left over. Right, there was a bit of dirt in there, so that's probably what it was. Yeah, it's looking better now. Sometimes you just got to clean it by hand. All right, we'll try that. A little bit of lube, a bit of cleaning, and we shall try and see if we can get a better seal. That one. It should be fully sealed. We'll try that one again. You wouldn't believe it, it's still leaking. I'm going to have to try another one. Well, it looks like my pressure relief valve, the new one, has a problem. It, for some reason, wasn't sealing, but the new one, the next one, is fine. So, it's not a big issue. It's 30 pounds of pressure that I'm putting in there. Normally you don't use that much, only when you gas up. Most of the time it's okay. If I do 10 pounds of pressure or 12 pounds, it doesn't leak. But I needed to do that to test it because I have a lot of problems with losing gas. Right, we'll do the same trick. It's still leaking. So it's not the relief valve, it is dripping very slightly. If I relieve the pressure, it won't be as bad. I wonder if we're turning it around and moving it around a bit will help it settle. It is a rubber seal. All right, that worked. It's not leaking anymore. I'll show you. So if you can see in there, a little pressure relief valve is now not leaking, and we've got no leaks by the look of it, no fluid dripping out anymore. Looking great. Thank God, it's a lot of work. Okay, this has now been sanitized, ready to go. I just need to transfer the sanitizer back into its bucket. So I'll, of course, have my gun, which is full of cleaning fluid at the moment. So I'll rinse this through into my container. We'll let some pressure out. This doesn't take 30 pounds of pressure, so it should start squirting out. Oh, no, it does. So I just quickly run sanitizer through this so it's clean. That's cleaned out. That's got full sanitizer in it. All right, I'm going to fill this up again. I'm going to get rid of what sanitizer I have in this container. And I'll get to my transfer and we'll go from there.